Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandan Vraj Janaranjana Yashodanandan Vraj Janaranjana Yashodanandan Vraj Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Jaya Sita Ram Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Jaya Gaura Nitai 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 Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev हिताय गौ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गंतरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। नंद कौरी वैष्णविंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiryet Shavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanaha Hridayantastohya Bhadrani Vidhunoti Surhasatam Nashtaprayasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. So today we will be covering Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 12. So last week we covered Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 11, the 4 social classes, where the 4 varnas were discussed. And today the title of this chapter is The Perfect Society, 4 Spiritual Classes. And we will be discussing mainly about the 4 ashrams. Hare Krishna. Covering the first verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 12, first verse. Shri Narad Uvacha Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Gurur Hitam Acharandasavannicho Guru Sudra Sauhridaha. Shri Narada Uvacha. Shri Narad Muni said, Brahmachari, a brahmachari, a student living at the residence of the Guru, Gurukule, at the residence of the Guru, Vasan, by living, Dantaha, continuously practicing control of the senses, Guroho Hitam, only for the benefit of the Guru, not for one's personal benefit. Acharan, practicing, Dasavat, very humbly like a slave. Nichaha, submissive, obedient. Gurao, unto the spiritual master. Sudrida, firmly. Sauhridaha, in friendship or goodwill. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Narad Muni said, a student should practice completely controlling his senses. He should be submissive and should have an attitude of firm friendship for the spiritual master. With a great vow, the brahmachari should live at the Gurukul only for the benefit of the Guru. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tadaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So the perfect society, 4 spiritual classes. And it talks about the 4 ashramas, from Varnashram, Dharma, from that aspect. So let's first try to understand what is an ashram. So what do you think is an ashram? What's your definition of an ashram? Oh, he's right on the mark. This is Srila Prabhupada's response as well. His definition is, anywhere cultivation of Krishna consciousness is going on, that is ashram. So it's amazing that, when you talk about people, two people about ashram, they have a different image in their mind. They normally think of a hut, a thatched roof, mud walls smeared with cow dung and clean space and so forth. Then we have men's ashram and women's ashram. They have a different concept of those, that these are living quarters. But then in truth, ashram means any place there is Krishna consciousness is progressing. And that is an ashram. And then there are 4 ashrams as given by the Shastra. It's again, Lord Krishna himself says, Chaturvarna Maya Shishram Guna Karma Vibhagisha. So all the 4 varnas are his, created by him. And of course the ashrams are also defined by him. And these 4 ashrams are based on age, activities, one's advancement, as well as sometimes even I have to look. There is something with L. So again, one's lifestyle as where they are coming from. So normally it is divided, everyone's lifespan is divided into 4 parts. The first 25 years one should stay as a brahmachari. So the very first verse is identifying how a brahmachari should be functioning. And he should be existing not present where? At Gurukul, the residence of the Guru. He should take shelter, right? That's what it's identifying. And for the benefit of Guru. So all his activities should be for the benefit of Guru. Now this can be looked in a very interesting way. That is to make it easy for Guru to give him the right instruction. Right? In Bhagavad Gita 4.34, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya ubdekshyanti taj jnanam jnanenas tattvadarshina. It's actually identifying tad vidhi as per the process. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So before even asking a question humbly, one should render service to the Guru. And one should make sure that, Guru is at ease and he is able to, carry out the activities of Krishna consciousness. And then one should inquire submissively. So even the inquiry has to be a submissive inquiry, not a challenging inquiry. Nowadays if you go to schools, the students say, oh, I need to know this. You need to tell me this. I want to know. Why is this so? That's a very challenging attitude. Again, this is how we were, from the childhood. You have to know it, otherwise you will fail in the exam, and the teacher has the responsibility to teach you and make sure that they have an answer. And sometimes it changes the attitude of a student, that they challenge the teachers. And Srila Prabhupada means, again, he was similarly challenged many times when he went out, preaching to the big crowd. It once so happened that at a university, when he was preaching there, a person stood up, he was like a student at the back. He says, why do you wear that tilak on your forehead? Why that marking on your forehead? Srila Prabhupada said, why do you wear the tie? And he looked at it, he was wearing the tie, couldn't understand why he wears the tie, he quietly sat down. And after the lecture, when he met Srila Prabhupada said, when you ask a question, first of all, the question should be a relevant question on the topic, not a challenging also. So you should ask it very humbly. And it is very interestingly, when you ask humbly, you are actually opening up yourself to receive the knowledge. And I was reading Vishakha Mataji's 5 years, 11 months book, and a lifelong, unlimited, love. And she is saying it's only when she opened up, she was able to receive that mercy, the teaching that Srila Prabhupada was giving. And at times, even then, because you are at a different stage in your spiritual advancement, sometimes she would feel completely at peace, and sometimes she would be disturbed. And it's very interesting that people who are looking from outside sometimes judge you just by hearing such notions. Mother Teresa is one example where, she was known as perfect saint, and all of a sudden it was shared that, sometimes even she felt disturbed. Then some of the journalists, first of all, they're journalists. What's their education level and understanding? They're just understanding general populace mindset. And they say, then she should not be a pure saint. And how do you determine that? All her activities were saintly. All she was doing was spreading love and peace all around the universe, means again, all around the earth. And then all of a sudden you made a judgment. And that is an offense. And we know Vaishnava Aparadh, that's mad elephant disease. So we have to be very careful. So here, brahmacharya is defined was first 25 years. You should submissively serve. And then what are the activities of a brahmachari? A brahmachari gets up early in the morning, engages in serving the guru from the morning itself. Goes out for madhukari or bhiksha, collecting bhiksha on behalf of guru. So whatever grains, whatever food stuff they collect by visiting different households, they come and give it back to guru. And generally, guru's wife, she cooks. So they are all given to her so she can cook. And they only eat when guru says you can eat. And if guru forgets, then they will go hungry. And guru will assign them services, they carry out the services. And then submissively they ask guru during the preaching, when he is educating them, about different questions they may have, different doubts they may have. And the guru would impart that knowledge onto them, and they would be able to make further advancement with that submissive attitude. And who's benefiting? Now the verse says, for the benefit of guru only. But in reality, it is when you please the guru who gets pleased. Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, you feel the bliss automatically. So that is the true attitude of a devotee, of a brahmachari, to constantly serve the guru and then please the guru, inquire submissively to understand the knowledge. Now it's very interesting that when we think of brahmachari, we always think of a brahmachari who is going to become a brahman. While the scriptures clearly state that the first three classes, Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya, based on their activities, based on their nature they are born with, and the level of understanding that they show when at the Gurukula. At that time, they show their propensities, so they are automatically get initiated into specific varna based on their qualities. And there may be some students who may be born in a Brahman family but may not be able to grasp the knowledge that has been imparted to them. They just become Brahman Bandhu in that case. And they could very well take on to Kshatriya if they are administrative kind, very much into that. Or they could become a Vaishya based on their mercantile mindset. And then, if they cannot even get that, they stay Shudra and they serve any of the three classes. So they accept a master and they serve the master. And by doing that itself, based on their specific position, they advance. After the brahmacharya, one can take one of the other ashrams. So what's the next ashram? Grihastha ashram. Now sometimes people think that somebody has taken Grihastha ashram, it's a very bad thing. Right? Srila Prabhupada in his statements as well as in purpose, he has clearly stated that there are four kinds of activities that must be fulfilled in a human form of life, which is dharma, arth, kam, moksha. Dharma is religiosity in this particular case. Well, that dharma actually means, our true nature, but it's coming from the four varnas, modes of material nature, from that perspective. Arth is economic development, kam is sense gratification, and then moksha is liberation. So these four goals one should endure, seek out. Now it is very interesting that one of my colleagues, he gave me an example when we were talking about dharma, kam, moksha. His example was very interesting. This is where we come to know how people are generally trying to understand the Shastra by staying outside and just interpreting what they see. He says, I follow Dhamma, Kam, Moksha, and I attain it every day. I was confused. He's saying he attains each one of them every day. He says, I get up in the morning and take Lord's name, light up a lamp, that's Dharma. Then I go out to work, 9 to 5 I work. That's earth, economic development. I'm working for economic development. Then I come home and I take my family out for a movie, or we go out eating dinner, or we go to clubs with my friends. That's calm, sense gratification. And at night I go to sleep, moksha. I'm liberated. And start the next day, same cycle. That's the understanding. So it's very interesting how, the concept is misinterpreted by different folks when they do not have the knowledge coming from the right source. The source matters, right? And our mind is very speculative. So we have to be very much, aware of what's really going on. Now, after Grahastha comes Vanaprastha, which is a stage between Grahastha and Sannyas, where one starts to build detachment from this material world, material thinking, sense gratification being the main area, as well as it actually, one stops doing the economic development aspect, tries to bring that detachment. And then finally at sannyas, a constant engagement in spiritual services is going on, devotional service engagement. So 25 to 50 years, Grahastha, 51 through 75, Vanaprastha, and then sannyas. Well, it's very interesting that the scriptures say that after brahmacharya, a student, based on their level of advancement, can choose any of the other 3 ashrams. So it's not always that you have to go to Grahastha. If you're very mature, you can very well go over to Vanaprastha or even to sannyas. It just depends. That's where you are. Now, which ashram is the best? That's the question. Which ashram is the best? Sannyas ashram. For you, there is a warning coming, for him sannyas ashram is actually, your doubt is something, one of the kings in our history, they also had a similar doubt. He had a doubt. He had a guru, and he saw his guru as a sannyasi. And he's like, I'm a grihastha, I have so many wives, because kings, they would have many wives. And he was thinking that he's like in a lower ashram. And sometimes brahmacharis, they would visit along with the guru, they will also behave like that with him. There is some tendency at times. That's their maturity. Sometimes you see brahmacharis behaving like that. Oh, he's a grihastha. He's engaged in all the worldly affairs without knowing that actually he's not a grahamedhi. Grahamedhi is engaged in all the material activities. Grihastha is thinking, Lord is everything, let me engage in the service. And if you look at it, Grihastha ashram actually supports all the other 3 ashrams. The basis of sustenance of all the other 3 ashrams is through Grihastha ashram. But let's go with this story where the king, once when his spiritual master visited him, he said, Guru Maharaj, I feel like taking sannyas, because sannyas ashram is the best ashram. And his guru looked at him and he said, come with me. And just guru and the king, they're walking. And the guru, he starts walking, and the king is thinking, okay, maybe he's going to give me something, So he keeps walking, just following his guru, submissively, very humbly and constantly. And he crosses the boundary of the kingdom and walks into the forest. Now the guru is walking, so he continues walking. Started in the morning, it's evening time, he has not had a single morsel of food. He's hungry, the king is hungry. And he's walking behind his guru, and suddenly he says, Gurudev, can we stop to rest? We had been constantly walking. He's like, sure. This looks like a nice tree with a good shade. Let's rest under there and, beneath the tree and relax. So he sits down. He says, Gurudev, I'm feeling really hungry. Didn't have a single grain, since morning. So Gurudev says, don't worry, that will be arranged. it's cold, so why don't you get some wood, dry wood, collect some dry wood. He collects the dry wood, Guru collects little kusha, and he chants mantras, the fire starts. Okay, it's nice fire, so at least the cold is not affecting so much. It's like winter time. And he's saying, Gurudev, I'm still feeling hungry. Is there? He says it will be arranged. Now it so happened that on top of the stream, it's in one of the branches, was a pigeon's nest. And there were father, mother pigeon, and then baby pigeons. So the father pigeon says to the mother pigeon, see, we have guests. Atithi, right? That's the exact word. Atithi means one who has come without a tithi, with the, unannounced. And as per the culture, Vedic culture, Atithi is considered in the form of a Lord. So, when Lord comes, sometimes he comes as Atithi also. So he says, we have Atithis, we have guests, and they are hungry. So we have to carry out our duties. Okay, so I will jump in the fire so that the king can eat me, while you, mother, are needed by the children more than me. So he jumps in the fire, the king sees a bird falling in the fire, okay, gets roasted, whatever, and then he eats that bird. He says to his spiritual master, Gurudev, I'm still hungry. Now the mother bird looks at that, she remembers her husband's words, Shishi Ganatai ki jai. Shishi Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Shishi Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. So the mother, the pigeon mother, she is looking, remembering her husband's words that we have to satisfy our guests. She tells the children that you have to somehow support each other, and she falls this time. Gets burned. I know, it's like such a gruesome scene going on. Yeah, everything is going bad. And the king eats that bird also. And afterwards he says, Gurudev, I am still hungry. The spiritual master says, don't worry, it will be arranged. So the baby birds, they look at it, one by one they fall. Gone. The whole family is burned to satisfy this guest. And then his spiritual master asks, so which ashram is the best? He says, still I feel sannyasa ashram is the best. Then the guru, the spiritual master, he reveals to him what had happened. To carry out their duty, in the grahastha ashram, these pigeons, they gave up their life just to satisfy, their atithi, their guest, who had just taken shelter under the same tree where they were living. So it is, at that point, revealed to the king, and as I was taught by my father, that this story reveals that grahastha ashram is the best. It took me some time to realize that actually whatever ashram you are at, based on your current position of your age, level of advancements and activities, and lifelong learnings, that's the ashram where you are best, because you can make spiritual advancement at a steady pace. Now, it is very interesting that when Srila Prabhupada was asked the same question, like which ashram is the best, his response was, why do you feel so? Means again, grahastha, you are a grahastha. The person who was asking was a grahastha. And from grahastha ashram, it's like grahastha is also an ashram, just like sannyas is an ashram. And actually, if you look at Panch Tattvas, they're all grahasthas, right? Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he married. Nityananda Prabhu also married, had 2 wives. Advaitacharya Prabhu also married. Nityananda Prabhu, Advaitacharya Prabhu never took sannyas. Gadadhar Prabhu also married. Shivas also married. So again, all of them are grahasthas. Grahastha is also an ashram. Why consider one ashram higher and another ashram lower? It's only our mind that makes us think this way. So it's very interesting that even though we have, based on our lifespans, different ashrams, they have their time, place and circumstances are very much applicable to individuals to see where they fit in. Now, there is another incident that's very interesting. We have one devotee, he was into management, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He came, Abhiram Prabhu, he came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, I cannot do this management services because my wife feels that I should be doing more into deity worship, more chanting and, devotional services. Then Srila Prabhupada's response, he chuckled and he said, women are less intelligent. Now, Srila Prabhupada can say that, right? And he made him understand. That's why he is saying that. He is saying, because he continues, and I'm paraphrasing what Srila Prabhupada said. Hopefully the message is the same. That you should continue to do your management activities because that is also spiritual. Just like Arjun fighting, right? He was fighting at Kurukshetra. And that is also a spiritual service because he is carrying out as a service to Krishna. He is carrying out the mission of Krishna. That's what devotees do. And so management, continue to do your management services, and that is also spiritual activities. And then he says, however, you must chant minimum 16 rounds. So you may have to sleep less, but finish your minimum 16 rounds. So that is very important, chanting japa. Because that's how the mercy flows. We raise our hand and chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we open our heart and chant, what happens next? We ask for devotion service. If it pleases Krishna, we get devotion service. And success is guaranteed. Now, regarding Grihastha Ashram, somebody can say, wait a minute, so many examples are being given about Grihastha Ashram. So it's such a good ashram for someone who is engaged in devotion service. Also seeking the four goals, for material life in a human form, dharma, artha, kam, moksha. Then how does that calm aspect come into being? So again, that's where the marriage institution has been created, where the sense gratification happens within that institution, within marriage. It is allowed. While all the other ashrams must abstain from sense gratification, and there are specific regulations given, specifically for brahmacharya. In that particular case, it's been given that they should focus on Vedic studies and avoid all other kind of distractions. And Devashi Narad goes into elaborate explanation of what are the kind of distractions that are there even in a Gurukul. So brahmachari should focus on learning and building his foundation. So that's where the foundation is built. Now many of us, including me, we missed that particular part of the foundation. When we went to school, we did get some foundation, but mainly at home, by our elders, by parents, by grandparents, and so forth. So luckily that foundation kept us pious, so that when we came here, first thing we were looking, when we come to US, especially from India, from our region, first place we are not looking for clubs. First place we are looking for is temples. Are there any temples around? If there is a temple, we will visit. So we come to the temple, and then the mercy flows. Just by coming to the temple. So Srila Prabhupada, he was very clear in identifying that even temples are made for Grihasthas. Because when Grihasthas, they come to the temple, they can engage in devotional services. So it's a very good institute, even for Grihasthas, where the Grihasthas can take shelter and seek spiritual advancement. So that is encouraging. And then elaborating further, Srila Prabhupada identifies that Archana Siddhi, which is deity worship, a perfection in deity worship, just by getting that, Grihasthas can go back to Vaikuntha, right? Spiritual world. Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha. Kuntha is misery. Vaya means a place devoid of. So a place there is no misery. And that must be a happy place, right? So just by engaging in worshipping of the deities, so he actually elaborated further that Grihasthas must have deities at their home. They must have deities who they worship by strict regulative principles. And that's where it comes, like you have to seek bona fide source as how to worship the deities. And it's given in Brahma Yamala. There is a following verse. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Panchratrika Vidhi Vina Ekant ki Harir Bhakti Utpati Eva Kalpate. So devotional service of the Lord that ignores the Vedic literatures like Upanishads, Puranas and Narad Panchratrika Vidhi is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. So it is very interesting that there are so many scriptures out there, but you have to seek out the bona fide scriptures and follow those, the statements from those scriptures. And just by doing deity worship, one can attain perfection in deity worship, and by having that perfection, one can go to Vaikuntha, which is spiritual world, beyond the material world. Now again, we keep hearing about a lot of comparison that even the people at spiritual world, they are not pure devotees, right? Means they are still into enjoying, and they are worshipping the Lord in opulent form, like Lakshmi Narayan form, because that's how Grihasthas learn deity worship. When they are performing even Radha Krishna's worship, Srila Prabhupada was very clear that you are performing as if you are doing Lakshmi Narayan worship in the mood of awe and reverence, so that you are more aware of the different rules and regulations, and so that you avoid making mistakes. And the strange thing is, even then, we make mistakes. So we ask for forgiveness after doing the deity worship, right? It is so difficult. We are so conditioned at times that we still make mistakes. And the interesting thing is, most of the time, right after that, we can list out the mistakes we made, which acts, and it's a very good retrospection, that we make mistakes and we say, wait a minute, next time I should take care of these things. I should be more aware of it. So next time when we come back to deity worship, we remember what were the retrospective aspects that we considered, so that we don't commit them. And we may still commit some other mistakes. And then we again ask for forgiveness and try to avoid those mistakes as well. And try to avoid the pattern to purify ourselves. So that's the recommendation for Grihasthas. So at this particular point means, this particular chapter ends, and the next chapter is behavior of a perfect person starts. So that's something we'll be covering next week. So again, in this particular chapter, we learned about the 4 ashrams. We understood the definition of ashram, and Prabhu was right on the mark. Any place you can make spiritual advancement is an ashram, right? And based on one's age, based on one's advancement, based on one's activities and the learning abilities, one stays in different ashrams and advances from one ashram to another ashram accordingly. The 3 of the varnas, they can take, they get initiated, but in this particular case, the varnas are not even the point. The point is ashram. So even a Shudra goes through different ashrams. It doesn't really matter. The matter is, how much advancement are you making in devotional service? How much you are making spiritual advancement? And then there are 6 principles that help you advance further. Rupa Goswami reveals to us that by being enthusiastic to make spiritual advancement, with determination and confidence that yes, this is what will help me attain the goal of life. And what's the goal of life? Anyone remembers? Last week we covered the goal of life. The purpose of life is to... People say normally Krishna Prem, devotional service, because that's the reflection of love, right? That's how you show your love. If a person says to another person, I love you, and then doesn't do anything, is that love? No, you have to show it with your actions. Actions speak louder than words. So just, by acting with devotion, with love, one expresses their love towards Krishna, and that's how we advance. And so, with determination, with confidence, patience. Believe me, Grihasthashram people know what patience is, right? We try each other's patience all the time. So that is, with patience. We have to be very patient in, seeking out spiritual advancement. And in Gurukul also, brahmacharis, they experience that. And brahmacharinis, they experience patience. Sometimes the attitude of getting it now is not true. And tat karma pravartanat, engaging in, as per the scriptures, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, engaging in hearing, chanting, remembering the Lord, and so forth. Avoiding the association of materialistic minded people. Why? Because they can pull us down in that direction. We may get attracted, like Ajamil, he saw a Shudra with a prostitute, just by the sight he was affected. So that's why we have to avoid materially minded people who are, so much into sense gratification and seeking economic development and collecting things which are unnecessary in their lives, really. And seeking the association of saintly persons and following in their footsteps. So again, that's, taking shelter of sadhu, guru and shastra. We can make advancement in our spiritual progress. And at the same time, continue to stay in our ashram, knowing that that's the place provided to us where we can be stably continuing to advance, spiritually as well. So that was the main essence we learned in this particular chapter. Any questions or comments? Yes? Yes. Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Sure. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. 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 Ask for forgiveness. Yes. Mm-hmm. Actually, there is, now that you mentioned, Srila Prabhupada, he actually told his disciples, you may fall down, but I cannot. So they were surprised. Srila Prabhupada spoke with such a conviction, and then he paid obeisance to the deities. And then they realized that every time he was paying obeisance, he was saying, Lord, do not let me fall down. So, he revealed that this is because I pray to the deities, please don't let me fall down. I pray to my spiritual master, please don't let me fall down. So that's why he has that conviction that I have fully surrendered to higher authorities, to the Guru Parampara, to the deities in their service, so they will protect me. And all I have to do is continue to do what has been instructed by my spiritual master. And his spiritual master, he had instructed to spread Krishna consciousness in the West to the English-speaking population. That was specific instruction he received. So he was just carrying out his mission with such conviction that just by sometimes few sentences, so just by the looks, people would surrender to him. So that's the opulence of spiritual world that flows through the devotees. Amazing. I'm having so many multiple thoughts to share, but yes. So we have to actually constantly seek forgiveness because we make so many mistakes. Knowingly, unknowingly, we make so many mistakes. Any other question or comments? Yes. Okay. Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Kori Vaishnavand ki jai, Go Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
গন্ধ কীর্তিনিন্দি সৌরভা বল্লবেশ শুনু সর্ব বাঞ্ছিতার্থ সাধিকা মধ্যমাত্ম পাদ পদ্ম দাস্যদাস্তু রাধিকা কুঙ্কুমাক্ত কাঞ্চনাব্জ গর্বহারি গৌরভা পীতনাঞ্চিতাব্জ গন্ধ কীর্তিনিন্দি সৌরভা কৌরবিন্দ কান্তিনিন্দি চিত্রপট্ট শাটিকা কৃষ্ণমত্ত ভৃঙ্গ কেলি ফুল্ল পুষ্প বাটিকা কৃষ্ণ নিত্য সঙ্গমার্থ পদ্মবন্ধু রাধিকা মধ্যমাত্ম পাদ পদ্ম দাস্যদাস্তু রাধিকা কুঙ্কুমাক্ত কাঞ্চনাব্জ গর্বহারি গৌরভা পীতনাঞ্চিতাব্জ গন্ধ কীর্তিনিন্দি সৌরভা সৌকুমার্য সৃষ্ট পল্ল বালিকীর্তি নিগ্রহা চন্দ্রচন্দনোৎপলেন্দু সেব্য শীত বিগ্রহা সাভিমর্ষ বল্লবীশ কামতাপবাধিকা মধ্যমাত্ম পাদ পদ্ম দাস্যদাস্তু রাধিকা কুঙ্কুমাক্ত কাঞ্চনাব্জ গর্বহারি গৌরভা পীতনাঞ্চিতাব্জ গন্ধ